People who play video games are more likely to be lucid dreamers, have control over their actions and dreams, than those who don't. Welcome to Professionally Casual Gamers, the podcast where two friends kick back after a long work week and casually talk about everything gaming. I'm your host, Ralph, joined by my co-host and Wii Fit trainer, Alex.
I just saw that now. Yes,
How have you been, Alex?
I am also known as a Wii Fit trainer in some parts of the world.
Dude, because you're so fit.
Yeah, so we have this Facebook group where we just casually play Smash every now and then. I don't know if you've been kind of lurking in that, but I picked up Wii Fit Trainer as a secondary in Smash.
Well, you told
Ultimate.
me that you picked up Wii Fit Trainer, so that's why I wanted to put that in.
It started out as a meme where I'm like, oh yeah, she hits a volleyball or soccer ball at people. Oh, she says salute the sun, all that. She's like a troll character, but I'm like, wait, this is...
Apparently Wii Fit Trainer is really good, though.
Yeah, I'm totally down for her. It's a good time. Obviously not male Wii Fit Trainer because...
How dare you?
No one plays male Wii Fit Trainer. But yeah, I've been good. I haven't touched the PS5 yet. It's literally sitting right behind me.
You're so excited. I can't wait.
It's tantalizing.
I think I kind of want you... I don't know if you can, but I would love you to just stream your first reactions to playing Astro's Playroom. That'd be like,
I think I'm just going to jump into Demon Souls. It's been
No.
I want to
promised me. You promised me. Just play it for 20 minutes. You play it for 20 minutes, then jump into Demon Souls. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. You have to play Astro's Playroom first. Not to mention, Demon Souls needs to. Not to mention, Demon Souls needs to update and download.
True.
Astro's Playroom is already on your PS5. So.
Okay. I will play it until Demon Souls is ready to go.
Hell yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm excited for you.
Great. Super excited. Thanksgiving is coming up too. But more importantly, Black Friday. Got some fun deals that we're going to talk about later. But yeah, happy to be here with you.
Fantastic. Well, today we're kicking off episode 12. As always, thank you to everyone who listens to our podcast. It really warms my heart. And if you're tuning in for the very first time, welcome. But before we get to the video game goodness, Alex, what have you been playing this week?
Ralph, I have beaten Persona 4 Golden.
Oh man, this is going to be a long one. I can feel it.
As fireworks go off in the background. Because I knew that today I'd be playing my PS5. I had sent to my parents' house again. I talked about this a little bit last weekend just because with Thanksgiving break coming up. And I think it's safer to just send it in the suburbs versus the city. So I'm excited to do that. And I needed to be Persona 4
That's
Golden.
funny. I actually just thought about something. Your playtime with Persona 4 kind of reminds me of the game where, 25 days until being kicked out or reported, or like 5 days until a murder. And then he's like,
needing to save the person
until PS5.
Yeah. And I cut it super close. So I went to bed at 5 a.m.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So maybe I won't do a first reaction stream of like my face with Astro's Playroom or Demon Souls because I have some like mad like eye bags going on right now.
Oh man,
I don't know when I'm going to go to bed tonight because on one hand there's like work tomorrow and I have not been getting a lot of sleep this past week and weekend. But also PS5. So.
Oh man, PS5 rip. It's okay. I'm glad that it's like a holiday season for the United States. So you get to play a lot of PS5 this weekend. So
I'm super excited.
I'm very excited for you.
Just gotta get through the 3-day week and then we'll be good.
All right. Well, on that note, PS4, I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts. You just finished it. Give me the rundown.
All right. So I played from like 11 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Oh boy.
yesterday because
that's how it be sometimes.
I just needed to do it. And it was like a really weird situation because I was like trying to like speed run it to like finally beat it. But also there was just like so many good moments in like the back like quarter of the game where I was doing it justice. Right? Yeah. Like I wasn't just like fast forwarding through all the dialogue. Like I was actually just like reading it, being like immersed in all the character interaction stuff. And there's a lot of like fun character interactions. You got like they go to like the spa guy in the hot tub. Which is just
classic anime.
I know, classic anime. Like there's gonna be like some dumb hijinks going on. They had like this ski trip that was really great. Always a Persona staple is the Valentine's Day with whoever you pick to romance. Like there's a lot of great stuff there. Yeah, I still will say that the characters in this game mesh so much better than the ones in Persona 5. And not to rag on Persona 5 like at all. Really good, really great game. Beat it twice. It's just when I think the Persona 4 characters are just more memorable.
Right.
And then I was thinking about this too earlier today, just kind of like reflecting on my playthrough of it. I think that like when you think of the Persona 4 cast versus the Persona 5 cast, and there's some similarities in that the protagonists in P4 and P5, they leave at the end of the game. I've never played Royal, but you know, and
they also leave at the end of the game. So
okay, and that one too. So I can see the characters in Persona 4 all hanging out together, even without the main character there. Whereas in Persona 5, if I'm trying to like imagine them all hanging out, it doesn't seem nearly as cohesive and like natural. I don't know how you agree with that or feel
No, I
about
totally
that.
agree with that. And I think it's because of the circumstance of the story, right? In Persona 4, it's really, yes, a little bit of spoilery. Granted, you know, the listeners have already been listening, but with Persona 4, yes, like they're going into the Midnight Channel and they're trying to prevent murders that's happening in Inaba. But the thing with that game in particular is that everyone that's kind of in that party they're friends, right? They would be friends outside the circumstances. The majority of the party they're already related in that sense. But in Persona 5, a lot of their interactions is really based on what happens to them. So they wouldn't have had those interactions if they didn't have the Phantom Thieves.
Right. The events of the stories and Persona 5 bring them together.
So I think that's where the disconnect is with you. And I totally agree that the interactions between the Persona 4 characters are more authentic and they're more grounded compared to the connections that you experience in Persona 5. But I think it's just more along the lines of it's a very different thematically the games are.
Also P4 takes place in like a smaller rural town, so it's a lot more intimate in that sense, just naturally.
Right.
Versus
it makes sense that everyone knows each other.
In Persona 5.
Yeah. It makes sense that everyone knows each other in that one school because there's only one school. So
yeah, totally. So I don't know if I like this more. I think I do like Persona 4 Golden more than Persona 5. Granted, that might change if I'm probably going to play Royal because I saw like at Best Buy it's $20 for Black Friday. So I would be. I'm losing money if I don't.
When are you going to find the time, Alex? Honestly,
exactly. I'll just maybe like sometime next year between like the new God of War, like Final Fantasy 16. Other stuff that's coming
just
out.
A heads up.
Or Bridge of whatever.
Right.
Bridge of Spirits. I'm really looking forward to that too.
Just a heads up, though. I am going to talk about spoilers on Game of the Year cast, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, that's
it needs to happen.
It's gonna be one of those things. Just a heads up on that. But overall, like, do you like 4, 3, or 5 more? Where do you land on those games?
I was for 3. That was my first one. I was like such a scrub during that. Like, I did not optimize
it's so
my time
hard.
Like nearly
you don't
as well.
know. Like, you don't know enough. Like your first Persona game, you don't understand. Hey, like you really need to understand what you're doing.
Yeah, like your first playthrough versus your second are like night and day.
Right.
It's crazy,
especially when you're like a first Persona new player, like a new Persona player, and you're like, "What do you mean I can't hang out with you? You don't think I'm
like
smart
where
enough?"
They were just here yesterday. Like it's crazy. Like I don't know. Like if I were to say, hey, I would recommend Persona 4 Golden over Persona 5. I don't know, which one would you say you'd recommend as like a first to like a newcomer to the series?
Sure.
Or they've heard about it, they want to play it. Which one would you recommend?
Honestly, Persona 5 is the easy recommendation. Yeah, Royal or just base. I would play Royal just on the basis that like Persona 4, while a fantastic game, the characters are amazing and it's really good. Persona 5 is just a really good entry point for anyone that is new because one, the stories within the Persona series are standalone, so you don't need to worry about trying to find continuity with I need to be careful with my words because you're about to like blast me on Instagram.
Oh my god! Hey man, I made that apology video, so we're in the same boat.
Right. So the continuity, you don't need to worry about that. You'll see like little Easter eggs here and there, but that one experience is your own. And then the other thing too, as you've already discussed in previous episodes, there's a lot of quality of life changes that happen in Persona 5 that, it's a little bit more friendly to new players. So I personally thought Persona 5 was really easy. Some people did not.
I kind of thought 4 was.
You think so?
Like, the end game dungeons and bosses. It's okay. So I thought they were really easy. Like I was blowing through them,
right?
And it's because I had. And if anyone's played Persona, he'll know this guy. It's Yoshitsune.
Dude, with charge?
Yeah, power charge, and then someone else gives you power up, and then he has the best physical attack in the game. It's called Hasutobi. It not only deals the most damage, but it does it to everyone, like all the enemies. So, yeah, it was... I had him, and
unless
I was
someone
like
has
really
physical
amazed.
reflect, then you're screwed.
Right. But even then, he blocks physical anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had him, and I was just, like, breezing through. Like, I one-shot. I beat the last boss on my first try.
Right. And I think it's because you're familiar with the mechanics, right? You know... Those are Persona staples. Those are Persona staples, right? There's certain personas that are staples in the game, like endgame, Yoshitsune, Alice, Satan, all those
just summon
people.
Satan.
Right. No, but all those summons are really strong, and you already understand that. Oh, like Satan's really good if you want almighty damage. People don't know what that means, but like once you get into the Persona groove, once you play some more Persona games, you understand what you're looking for. So it makes it really easy at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So going back to what you're talking about with what we were talking about with recommending one or the other. So one of my good friends who we both went to school with, Brendan, I've mentioned him a few times, maybe passively in the text that he's been wanting to switch over to the PlayStation side. So I've been talking to him a little bit about like he's been struggling too with like the pre-order process. So I'm like, hey man, I feel you. Like if you know like a date and time when a certain retailer is going to drop it, like
Black Friday. Yeah, I can help him out too. If Brendan, if you're listening, let me know. I can help you out. Jump on like Best Buy or Walmart on Black Friday to see if I can get you a pre-order. I'll be glad to help you out.
Yeah, and so I've been saying like, hey man, like Persona 5 Royal is also going to be on sale. Like, so I've been trying to sell him on the idea. And
it's
I
not
think
even that
will.
For Brendan, for someone that didn't play any of the the PlayStation exclusives, the PlayStation Plus collection is A+. Like, yeah,
for this in this case particular, I do agree. The PlayStation Plus collection is very appealing.
It's
to people.
Really, it's really comprehensive for any Xbox player that didn't have. It's a bummer because I looked at the PlayStation Plus collection on my PS5. I'm like, oh, I own all of these. Yeah,
I think just for the case of timeline wise, with Persona 5 Royal being like $20,
right? Like,
I think that's way worth it.
I get that. However, and I'm the biggest Persona 5 fanboy ever in the history of our podcast.
I've heard.
But would you tell Brendan to play Persona 5 over God of War, Last of Us? No,
I'm just saying you should get Royal over the base game.
Oh, I was gonna say like
no,
that's totally makes sense.
I would say like God of War, like Horizon, like I think like most people really enjoy those games. So
right. I was like, don't do Persona 5 yet. You can beat like 4 games before you can jump in there.
Yeah. Small misunderstanding.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, I'm glad that you finished Persona 4 Golden.
Also, one quick thing before we move on. The epilogue of Persona 4 Golden was so satisfying.
Yeah.
That's something, and maybe Persona 5 Royal does this, but I know the Persona 5 base game, there wasn't like much to the ending. Like they just like drive the main character home, and then they just kind of cut off of that. In Persona 4 Golden, like it ends, and then there's like a small little time skip. They skip like 5 months to summer break, and like he's back. You see like all the friends you made in the game, like they're slightly more grown up, like their looks have changed. Kanji has this whole totally new look. It's hilarious. Yeah. So you get to like see how they've changed.
Doesn't he like dye his hair black? Is that
Yeah, he dyes it black. He's like kind of like a dweeb now. I don't know. It's great. So like that was just like I
Well,
just had like
remember,
the
that might be a
dumbest smile
golden
on my
thing.
face.
That might be a golden thing. I don't know what
It
the
is.
base.
No,
Yeah,
it totally is. It is.
because I don't know what the base ending is for Persona 4 was, but they definitely changed the ending for Persona 5 Royal as well.
Yeah. Okay. So there is. I would expect that too, but I was very happy with the ending of Persona 4 Gold, and like super satisfied with that game overall. I think if I played it like back when it came out, like in 2011, I would love it even more.
Right.
Because it was like a flavor of the month sort of thing. But I don't know. I go back and forth because earlier when we were starting this podcast up, we made an Instagram post with like our favorite games. And I don't know if I should put Persona 4 Gold on there. Like I really love the characters and like all like the everything narrative wise, like the main plot and all the subplots are just awesome. But
well, I think
so if anyone
time thing, right? Like, honestly, if a child played Mario 1 now, that would not be.
They would throw up.
No, they wouldn't throw up. I think they would still enjoy themselves, but I don't know if that person would say that was one of their favorite games growing up. Right? Like it's good that they played Mario 1, but they're gonna pick something that's more contemporary, like something that is more reflective of their life as they were growing up as a gamer.
Yeah, timing is very important with games, with like everything, I guess.
Because like honestly, I don't think Mass Effect 2 would hit my top 5 if I played it now. Honestly,
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah, so my last comments on Persona 4 Gold before we put it in the coffin, bury it. I would totally recommend it if you can get past like basically PS2 graphics and you just want like a very enriching character-driven story. Check it out on Steam. I want to say it was like $15 to $20. I don't have a gaming PC. I actually have a laptop, and I was able to run it perfectly.
I'm pretty sure anything could run that game.
Yeah,
like any potato.
A hamster wheel computer could run. Yeah, so it's good. I would recommend it. It's a good entry point in the series if you don't have access to a PS4 or PS5.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I am playing a lot of things. I'm going to do something a little bit different for myself this week. I'm going to give you a list of games that I'm playing, and I'm going to let you choose what you think I should talk about this week. So,
okay. How interactive.
So, I played Watch Dogs Legion. I finished it. So that's one thing that you can choose from. Sackboy's Big Adventure. I'm playing that with my fiance, Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
Astro's Playroom. I finished that one as well. And then I also finished Marvel's Spider-Man. The other thing too...
Miles Morales, right?
Yes, Miles Morales, yeah. And then the other thing too is I could also talk about the Oculus Quest 2. So, Alex, Watch Dogs, Sackboy, Astro's Playroom, or Miles Morales. Or... Quest 2. Like I said, lots to talk about. I don't want to...
I feel like we both played a lot of video games this week, but like mine was just one game. One stupid Persona game, and you did like all these PS5 stuff. Okay, I will say we don't talk a lot about like co-op games, so I'm interested to hear what you have to say about your experience playing Sackboy: A Big Adventure with your fiance.
Sure. So Sackboy: Big Adventure is really cool. I really enjoyed it. I don't think people are talking about it enough, which is kind of a shame.
I don't think so either. You're right.
So first things first, one big plus for me is that it is DualSense supported. I would hope but it's really cool. Yeah, I really enjoy the DualSense support on that game too. I think everything should just have DualSense support. I recently just Googled what games support DualSense. Like that's one thing that I checked in, and I almost bought Call of Duty, and I don't even play Call of Duty. But Sackboy: Big Adventure, I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. I am playing it with Sam tonight. It's gonna be like a date night kind of game because she really likes the game too. It is very much a Mario World type game like for Sony. It's really cool. The puzzles are not too hard. And the way that it's structured is really interesting because it's kind of like Mario where you go into worlds. It's not like an open world game where you kind of go into like a world 1, world 2, world 3. And in those worlds, you have some collectibles that you can find. And from those collectibles, you can find some costumes for your Sackboy or girl. And then you can also find these little, I forgot what they're like balls. I don't really know what they're called. They're like globes that you can find throughout the level. There's usually like 3 or 4 within the level.
Okay.
Some of them are really easy to find. Some of them are really hard to find. So it's one of those great games where for Sam and I, it's a good game for us to bond with one another because she likes to play games, but she really doesn't typically like the games that I play. But Sackboy's Big Adventure is perfect if you have a partner that's you'd want to play video games with to spend time with your hobby with.
Yeah, I know she's a big fan of platformers.
Right, yeah, so she's a huge fan of platformers. One thing that is very good for this game is that there's no camera control. I know that a lot of people a lot of people that struggle with the games now is because there's that second stick and they can't hang with the camera control. So since there is no camera control in this game, it's really helpful for Sam and I. Because it's really easy for her to play. She just needs to focus on platforming, which she's really good at.
Nice. Yeah, the camera stick, the right analog stick, I don't even think about it anymore, right? And I'm sure you don't either. Like it's second nature, but I could see how that would be maybe a little cumbersome.
Yeah.
Or you have to actually manually think about doing that opposed to an automatic sort of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what do you call it? The game is really pretty. It doesn't seem like it. It's weird. It doesn't seem like it on videos or anything. It doesn't seem too crazy, but the game is beautiful. It's like a crafted kind of world, like if you can think of like Yoshi's Crafted World or something like that, but or Tearaway. Yeah, it looks really nice, and it's one of those things where I was really impressed by Sackboy's face, if that's weird. So Sackboy is like this little Sony
cute
mascot. Yeah, he's super cute. The Sony mascot, who's I think is made out of I don't know, those potato bags. I forgot what they're called, but they're
very cute.
Yeah, but it's like something that's knitted. But what's cool about when I say it was really impressive graphically is that you can't really tell in videos, but you can see little strands of just fiber off him, which
and
it's
that's
a
always
small
something
touch,
I've been.
But it's super nice.
Yeah, when this was this a launch title on the PS3?
I'm not sure. I'm not a Little Big Planet person. I already picked this up because I wanted some more games to play on PS5, and I'm really glad I picked it up.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I just remember being really impressed with the textures, like the detail and texture on Sackboy and the environment on the PS3. While there's no really use for ray tracing or these marvelous graphics or everything going on the screen versus Marvel Spider-Man or Miles Morales, but they find other ways to show off their graphic fidelity and their prowess, which I think is really cool.
It's really nice it's a fantastic game, and I really enjoy the costumes. So you get to collect these costumes, and then I'm really trying to find this pinata costume because I want my Sackboy to look like a pinata. But overall, it's a really fun game. I am enjoying it a lot. It's great to play with your partner. But yeah, it's a good time.
Sweet. And I guess we've got several minutes before we do the hard cutoff for game. So if you want to talk a little more about Miles Morales, or we can touch up on Hades.
I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of talking points for those games. I think we should touch base on some Hades stuff.
Cool, let's do it.
Because that's something that we played together. So I have beaten Hades. So what I mean by actually it's 10 runs.
Oh god!
So it's 10 runs. A little bit of spoiler. Granted, it's a video game book club game, so we're not really that worried about spoilers. But on the 10th run, you don't have to fight Hades.
Oh,
right.
So what do you do?
He just lets you go out.
What a guy. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm fucking oh wow. Sorry. Whoops. I really love Hades.
Is that the first F-bomb that I don't know.
It's been a while. It's been a while since
you just really like it, huh?
I really like Hades. It's definitely a big contender for Game of the Year. Even though it's one of those weird things. So obviously you need to beat Hades multiple times in order to get the credits to roll. But there's so much game. It's the same game over and over again. It's a roguelike, so you're doing the same system, and it always feels nice because it never feels the same. You understand the structure. You're going to always fight Megara. You're always going to fight Hydra. You're going to fight Theseus and Asterius, things like that. But the story just keeps on pulling me back in. So do you want me to talk about the ending, or are you going to plan on beating it?
Now that I've got the PS5, it's lights out for Hades for me.
Oh,
okay, I will say before you go on this
sure.
route, I beat it once, and I was a little salty because I know. No, it totally is. I beat it once, and the one time I beat it, I didn't even die
Yeah.
at all. So I'm like, huh.
Well, it's one of those things where
Interesting.
you have like a good run or a bad run. Sometimes you're like, I really don't like using this weapon, but I'm going to try and make it work.
Yeah, there's a little bit of RNG for sure, but I think regardless, you see yourself evolve as a player. And when you do get hit or when you get damaged by a boss or like a random mob, you're like, I know I could have done that better. I was just maybe a little impatient there.
Right.
But yeah, I respect it. I like it more than when I started. I know I was a little more wishy-washy. You were pretty gung-ho about it, but yeah, I like it. I respect the devs on this a lot. So it's glad to see it's good. But yeah, I'll let you go.
I believe that I've done, if I remember correctly, because you can look at your records, I believe I ran 48 runs of Hades.
It's a lot.
Yeah, which seems like a lot because there's a, but you have to understand that a lot of those runs are probably early deaths.
I was going to say, how many of them do you think are deaths like before even your first completion?
Right.
Like
so
20 something?
Yeah. The last 10 of those are definitely completions because most of the time, like my last 15 or 20 runs, like the last 10 runs for sure are completions because I like knocked out Hades multiple times. It's super easy.
Nice.
Once you get used to it and the strategies and stuff like that. So
do you stick with the shield?
No, it depends on, it depends on what the dark thirst is or whatever that thing is. Okay. Because the way that I play is I'm basing it off like healing myself based on getting some darkness in the game. So darkness in the game is this little purple teardrop that gives you some upgrades when you get back to the underworld. But if you have that upgrade, it heals you for a percentage of what you're getting. So if you're getting 10 darkness, you're healing for 6 if you max that out, which is a lot more than what you normally would get. So because if you finally
it has the potential to be at least.
Because if you finally get like decent at the game, most of the time you're not going to get hit in a room. Like usually it's you get hit for like mistakes here or there during a boss fight. So the darkness one is really good. So before we run out of time, I just want to run through the entire game. The reason the game is so good is, like I've said in previous episodes, is because they keep on bringing story back into the game. So as you go up and try to escape Hades, you learn more about the other gods and their dynamics. And then when you get sent back to the underworld, all of the people that are in that court have new things to say. You learn more about them, and it's really cool. The reason you keep on going up, right, even if you try to escape beforehand, is because since Zagreus wasn't meant to be born, and what I mean by that is that because Zeus gave Hades hell, the one stipulation is that he can't have an heir. Right. So the one stipulation is that he can't have an heir. So the reason Hades, Zagreus keeps on dying when he gets up there and when he meets Persephone is that he wasn't meant to be born. So Nyx did something, which is it's really cool. Like the story is really fantastic. So Nyx is the goddess of darkness. And so she did something for like multiple like days or something. And brought Zagreus back to life. And so he's like one of those weird things where he's part more. I don't really understand it, but it's kind of,
he's a demigod.
Not real, no, because Persephone and Hades are both gods.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, but it's one of those weird things because I think it's hinted that he's part mortal and part god, and it's like a weird thing because I forgot the Asto, which is Megra's sister. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Alesto?
Yeah, Alesto keeps on saying that Zagreus has red blood, which is not normal of gods. So she keeps on bringing that up, and she likes trying to kill Zagreus because it's not normal. And so I think there's like a hint there that there's something going on where he's part mortal. So I'm not sure yet. But the gist of it is that because Hades did a pact that he was not going to have an heir, there was never plans for him to have a child. And so when Persephone, there's a lot of different layers to the story. Persephone doesn't like being in Olympus. So what happened was there's this idea of like a conspiracy that Zeus helped Persephone go down to Hades as like a consolation prize for Hades, because like it's a weird thing that like Hades can't be on Earth, or he can't be on Olympus. Hades can only stay in the underworld.
Right.
He can never leave, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so Persephone gets sent over to hell. Hades and Persephone actually fall in love. Demeter, which is Persephone's mom, is really pissed because she doesn't know where her daughter is. And so
I didn't know that Demeter was Persephone's mom.
Yeah,
okay.
there's a lot of layers. You find out all of this like as you go through the game, and there's so much more. And so like literally Persephone thinks Zagreus is dead, so she runs away. She leaves Hades, and Hades doesn't tell her because technically he can only protect her in hell. And since she left, he can't protect her on the surface. And so he doesn't tell her that Zagreus is alive, because if she gets caught by the Olympians, and then if and Demeter finds out that, Persephone's been in hell this entire time, it would cause a war. And so he lies to Persephone and doesn't tell her that Zagreus is alive, because then there would be a lot of issues in the game. And
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff. And then eventually the game ends on your 10th row, and Persephone goes back to hell with you, which is really cool. And then there's even more after that. Even though you rolled credits, the way it ends is that Hades wants Zagreus to pretend that he's still trying to exit hell, so that the Olympians, like Zeus, Athena, Poseidon, don't think there's something wrong. Because that's the main concern.
Makes sense.
And then the other thing too is he's saying there's a lot of issues with security. Now this is now your job. Your job is to always try to escape hell, because it shows all of security issues.
So he's quality assurance.
Essentially, yeah. And then there's some extra stuff there that I still kind of want to play Hades, where Zagreus tells Hades, it says, hey, like, we can't keep this up forever. And then Hades says, hey, like, your mom is trying to figure something out. She's trying to figure something out so that we can kind of resolve this issue. So I think there's like some form of end game for like
interesting.
Yeah, so there's so much more story. Like I haven't even maxed out any relationships yet. I just unlocked Megara.
So you need 10, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just unlocked Megara. So it's 6 ambrosia, and then you have to talk to them. There's key things that you need to do to allow the unlock. I just unlocked Megara, and then you need 7 ambrosia to fully max them out. That's just Megara. Like, you haven't met Orpheus yet. You haven't met Eurydice yet. Achilles is in love with another person that's in Elysium. They made a secret deal where, because he wasn't like the person that Achilles loves wasn't like a great warrior. He was going to be in Tartarus. But because Achilles loved him so much that he made a deal with Hades that he was going to work for Hades if he let his lover live in Elysium by himself. But that person is now mad because he's by himself in Elysium. Oh, and Achilles is gay, by the way. So it's like a bunch of.
I was hearing you say that. I'm like, is he? Huh,
yeah,
okay.
No. There's like so much. Like there's Thanatos, there's Dusa, there's so like Nyx. Like there's so much to uncover in the game, and I really want to play it, but there's so much stuff. But like it's great.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that sort of game. Like you get that vibe from the beginning, where it's like, oh wow, there's more unique dialogue. Oh man, there's even more unique dialogue. You can just tell it's one of those games where there's a lot of hidden stuff and a lot of layers to uncover, which is cool.
I would say it's like the perfect roguelike. It's really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Glad I was able to get that off my chest. It's going to be game of the year. I'm sure I'm going to be talking about that much more during the
Wait. You think it's going to be game of the year?
On that note.
You goober. Okay, yeah, let's move on.
On that note, on to video game news. Sorry. You got me. On to video game news. The 007 game got teased last week or this week.
Did.
And it's in the works, and the Hitman developer, if you guys are familiar with Hitman, IO Interactive is developing it. So that is super cool, and I think that's super interesting. It's one of those weird things where that big franchises are given enough time and weight that they normally wouldn't be, with like those video game movies was like a
Mhm.
thing back in the day, and like, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Avatar games, or whatever. Now, like, I think these properties understand that video games is a really strong medium if you treat it properly. And so now there's a 007 game that's being developed by a really high caliber developer like IO. Not that there weren't any 007 games that are really good. Obviously, we have GoldenEye and stuff like that. But,
Oh man, GoldenEye.
right. But now it's like something huge. And I think this is like a perfect pairing.
Yeah. When I saw that it's the Hitman devs, I'm like, okay, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, and I know
'Cause
that you're not
yeah.
a stealth player, like you're not really into that type of game.
No,
but
dude,
are
I just
you
want to charge
excited?
in with my shotgun.
Yeah. Are you excited for a 007 game made by IO, or is it just like good news to you that something like this is happening?
So this is a game that I definitely wouldn't play, but I would be down to watch you play. Like we could hang out, grab a couple of drinks, get some
Mhm.
snacks rolling. I would, like play it together in a sense. Like I think I'd have a lot of fun with that, opposed to if I just tried to play it by myself.
Yeah, and I know that
because I don't have like an attachment to the 007 James Bond series,
right.
nor Hitman.
Mhm.
But like I've heard good things, so I would be I've got my ear on this. Curious to see how it does.
Yeah, I know that Hitman has a huge following. It's the last 2 games plus the third one that's coming out. People were very positive on it. It's really brought IO into the limelight when talking about video games. And so that's really exciting. One thing that I do want to note is that I really am excited for this game. I'm just not a very patient person. Like I'm the type of person that if I play Assassin's Creed, I'll do stealth for like 2 seconds. And then I'm like, just go. Just go.
Yeah,
in.
that's why, and we always come back to this Ghost of Tsushima. That's why Ghost of Tsushima is really good, because you could do stealth for like half of a camp,
Right.
and then you'd be like, all right, this is enough, and then actually just like brute force them, and it was fine. But yeah, we don't need to go back to Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, the other thing too with like Ghost or like Assassin's Creed, you don't need. I don't really think those are stealth games. They're more like action games. You don't really.
It's a nice hybrid, yeah.
Right. It's not real stealth. Like I know that sounds really like sacrilege, but it's not a
Sounds
real
pretentious, Ralph.
No, but it's not a real stealth game where like. In Hitman, you need to find their walking patterns, and then you need to find how to get through this door, and then you need to find where they're going to be at. Yeah, where they're going to be at 7 p.m. You know what I mean?
I don't have the patience for that either.
I don't have the patience to be like, okay, I need to get a chicken suit, go in as a mascot, go up the elevator, remove the chicken suit, kill this person, go into that window so that I can put my sniper.
Dance.
No, but seriously. But I think IO is the perfect the perfect developer for 007 game. I'm curious though, because I think 007 leans a little bit more into action. Like, sure, there's a lot of stealthy bits in there, but I think there's a lot of action bits there too, if I think about like the movies and stuff.
Yeah, like an evil bad guy lair running from explosions. It's a little more, we'll call it cinematic in that sense. Because
like the way that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yes, you're doing stealth, but then like once you get your target, you're in a nice like what do you call it, Lamborghini that has rockets. And then you're being chased by like 300 helicopters or something.
Yeah. So there's definitely some differences, but there are certainly some similarities too.
Yeah.
I honestly, maybe that's why they want to do it. They want to kind of mix up the formula a little bit. So I think they're a good choice for it. It'll be cool.
Yeah, good for them.
I don't even remember the last time we had a James Bond game. I remember there's one on like the Xbox 360.
There's probably something new that was just bad, that like was a flash in the pan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On that other note, Sony PlayStation is setting up an answer for Xbox Game Pass.
Yes.
When asked directly on what Sony might have planned in order to compete with Xbox Game Pass, Sony Interactive CEO Jim Ryan stated that there is news to come. Alex, what do you want out of Sony's version of Game Pass?
I want games on a subscription service.
In detail, really interesting. All right, let's work on this. So, do you want? So, if it's going to be similar to Game Pass, I'm assuming we'd want like day and date games, right, on subscription. Is that even possible?
even if it isn't like day of, it's on this Sony Game Pass. Like, I wouldn't even mind that if it came like a month or two later.
Okay.
Like, that'd still be fine for me.
So question here, like, do you even think it's possible for Sony to allow day and date release on Game Pass or Sony Pass?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is Jim Ryan, the same guy who said this ominous news to come, is the same guy who said, and I want to say this is like only a couple months ago, said it wasn't financially feasible to have these Sony exclusives that they spend millions of dollars on like a $10 to $15 a month subscription service. So, and now they're saying this. So very interesting to me, but also I'm happy it's being addressed. I'm happy it's like on their radar, because I would certainly, and I've voiced my opinion about this in past episodes, I would jump on that subscription service in a heartbeat.
How much would you pay for it? What's the sweet spot for you?
Yeah, I'm assuming there would be different levels to it, like one that comes with PlayStation Plus, one that doesn't, maybe one that has like the xCloud service where you could like play it anywhere, or maybe it'd be just one that includes all of it. I don't know, but if it was like $20 a month, like I would do that.
$20 a month, that's not a bad price. I think the sweet spot for this, I think honestly they need to do day and date. I know they said it's not financially feasible, but I think Sony is just looking at the amount of subscriptions that Xbox has. Right. It's just so much money on the table.
Okay, so what if the Sony exclusives weren't day of on there, but like everything else, like third-party stuff was?
It depends on
that was kind of my vision of it.
It depends on what third-party stuff is, right? Like right now, it's just one of those weird things where there's a lot of subscriptions floating around, right? EA Play is bundled into Game Pass now. Yeah. So EA Play is bundled into Game Pass Ultimate, I believe. Some of those games are not day and date, but still you have a lot of EA games. Xbox has day and date, and there's a bunch of other games that are just floating around on Game Pass. And I think what is going to happen is that Sony is making deals with a lot of those third-party developers. Like, hey, you guys have this deal with Xbox. We'd like the same thing. You know what I mean? So like,
invite me to the party too.
Right. I think unless there's an exclusivity agreement that Xbox has with those publishers, I would assume that a lot of the games that are going to be on Game Pass are going to be on PlayStation. So those like things that are like floating around, like I would say like your Tales of Vesperia, your Mutant Year Zero, your Plague Tales, games like that, right? So things that are just kind of floating around, not AAA, not like indie, maybe AA, things like that. But they need to figure out what differentiates them, and obviously that's going to be their first party offering. And so it's kind of in a weird spot with Sony Game Pass, because a lot of those first party offerings right now, those PS4 games, they come for free for your PlayStation Plus collection, right? Obviously there's some omissions there, which is Spider-Man, Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, but the majority of their lineup right now is on PlayStation Plus for free. And so they need to do day and date, honestly, from my opinion, in order for them to be competitive with Xbox Game Pass. Because if you're already...
Well, that's at this moment.
Right, at this moment, right? So
yeah. I mean, I would imagine if this does come out, it would be like at the earliest spring next year. I would imagine like summer. That's when that's my timeline, my super rough timeline of this.
Yeah, something related. I'm actually going to bring that up later. But I think, like you said, Jim Ryan said that it's not financially feasible for them to have day and date like release on a Game Pass kind of deal. So my guess would be it's maybe a 3-month thing, because typically PlayStation games kind of go on sale on that 3-month mark after launch. So I think that's kind of the sweet spot. The people that really want to, so the people that really want to play it at launch buy it, and then the people that want to subscribe to stuff, then they can get it later. I would even guess that if you have the subscription, you might be able to get those games for like $40.
I was actually just gonna say that, like, if you do really want it at launch, we'll sell it to you
if you're
for like
subscribed,
$45.
You know what I mean? So like it gives them an option. Right, so
that's a nice middle ground.
Yeah, it's a good value.
And then if not, you could wait like 2-3 months.
Yeah,
I would be down for that.
It's just bad press, though. You know what I mean? It's just bad publicity, honestly. It's bad marketing where they're like, if Sony goes out, oh, like we have this Game Pass thing. We don't have day and date though. Like it's just it's a weird message to have when they're trying to compete with a competitor that's doing better. Granted, Xbox doesn't have many games right now, so it's kind of that weird thing.
Right. Yeah, like on paper that sounds a lot worse than I think it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the option of like if you had a discount on it if you are a member. Yeah, I wonder. I'm super curious about what kind of direction they're going to go with this. I think they know like the only thing, like sorry Xbox players, the only thing keeping Microsoft afloat in the gaming industry is Game Pass.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, what if we also do that, but we have better games?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the sweet spot's $15. I don't know if people would be paying for $20. I think there's like it's just a mental thing, marketing wise. The moment you hit that $20 mark, I think it makes it it's a big purchase. Like at 15, it seems small enough still, while $20 a month makes it seem like a real thing. That for some people, that's electricity or like gas or like their phone plan. Almost.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I think 15 is where they're at. Maybe $16.99.
Ooh, extra $2.
Yeah. Hey, that extra $2 amounts to if you have 1 million people subscribe.
True.
And that extra $2 is $2 million. So.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of what they do, that I'm glad that they're readdressing the situation because they do have PS Now. Well, I mean, technically they have something called PS Now, but it's not really a thing. Right. Let's be real. So if they're rebranding, revamping this, reinvigorating it, like I'm super happy to hear that. So
yeah,
cool stuff.
On that note, the Game Awards 2020 nominations have been announced. So Jeff Keighley, which is the person that puts on the Game Awards every year, announced the nominees for 2020. The nominees in each category are now available for public voting, and winners will be awarded as part of Game Awards 2020, which will be live streamed on December 10th. There's a lot of nominees, so if you guys want to check that out, you should check out the Game Awards website. But one thing that I do want to call out is the Game of the Year awards. So I'll list them out for the listeners right now. So Game of the Year nominees are as follows: Animal Crossing New Horizons by Nintendo, Doom Eternal by id Software, Final Fantasy VII Remake by Square Enix, Ghost of Tsushima by Sucker Punch, Hades by Supergiant Games, and The Last of Us Part 2 by Naughty Dog. So my question for you, Alex, do you like these nominations? Do you think there were any snubs this year? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was looking at this and I'm trying to think like what else I would want on there. And there's next gen stuff that isn't included. So
it's fine. Game Awards typically does a thing
Demon's
where
Souls,
Game Awards typically does a thing where if there's like a weird cutoff. So, for example, like Cyberpunk is probably going to be in the running next year.
For next year, yeah.
Right. So, but I am surprised that Miles is not on here because I believe it was nominated for like best performance. I mean, it's not a particularly long game.
Right. I did see that. You're right. Yeah.
I think Astros should be on here. I know it sounds crazy, and I know it sounds stupid, but I believe Astros Playroom. I think it should be on here. I'm out of this list, and I think I know what you're going to say. Who do you think deserves to win?
Yeah, definitely Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah,
I'm going to be fighting tooth and nail for that on our podcast episode.
Yeah, I think honestly, I believe that it's going to be. I know you love Final Fantasy VII Remake, but honestly, I believe it's going to be between Animal Crossing New Horizons, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades. Not even
Hades.
Hades is very well regarded within the gaming community. Animal Crossing New Horizons allowed people to like live through COVID. You know what I mean?
I think I really do like the inclusion of Animal Crossing New Horizons there. Like it saved a lot of people's like mental
health. Yeah. And then Ghost of Tsushima, while I don't think will win, really put Sucker Punch on the map. So
I was actually gonna say I think Ghost of Tsushima should win. But my personal game of the year is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Who do you think is going to win? Because I think the game that is going to win is Animal Crossing. Not my personal game of the year, but I believe Animal Crossing will win this year.
Yeah, that's tough. I could see that too. It's like the reason why it was so hard to find a Nintendo Switch.
Right.
Like,
they were sold out for so long because of Animal Crossing. A lot of celebrities started playing Animal Crossing. Elijah Wood made Animal Crossing stream.
Joe Biden had the island.
Which, fun fact, I don't know if that was it. Did we talk about that last week? I don't think we did.
Joe Biden's island?
No. Nintendo had released a business conduct for Animal Crossing, which they never thought they would have to. So they said, please do not use our platform for any marketing material or political campaigns. And I think that's a direct response to Joe Biden. So
that's funny. Yeah,
not that. Honestly, I don't think there was a person out there like, oh, Joe Biden streamed on Animal Crossing, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden now. I don't think that happened. No. But yeah, it looks like they have a business conduct agreement now for their games, which is crazy. So
that's cool. Good for them, I guess.
2020. But yeah, no, I think Animal Crossing is going to win. But on that note, Game Awards is a really good place to announce things. And so related to our previous topic about Sony Game Pass, I believe they're going to announce the Sony Pass at Game Awards.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a very good time to do it.
Because it would make sense because it was just recently teased. Marketing doesn't make any... I think everything is very calculated when it comes to marketing. So Jim Ryan saying there's news to come and then teasing that and then that being at Game Awards 2 weeks later, I think is a very good cadence to that messaging. Mm-hmm. So I believe that will be announced at Game Awards this year. Is there anything else that you want to announce at Game Awards?
Yeah, like I said, I was trying to think and I'm not sure. Like, obviously
Smash
Dragon Ball Z
character?
Kakarot, but...
Smash Bros. Character?
You mean announcements, not nominations. Gotcha.
No. Announcements. Because there's a lot of announcements at that on that stream usually.
Yeah, because they know everyone's tuning in.
Dude, Joker being announced at Game Awards is like one of my favorite announcements.
Yeah, I remember you told me that like the day after. Like, I screamed at like 1 a.m. or whatever.
And I'm not even good at Joker.
Yeah. He's fun. That was a super cool announcement. So I would totally be down for another Smash announcement.
Mm-hmm. Is there a game that you're looking for?
I think if they maybe showed another Final Fantasy 16 trailer or like a release date. A release date for Final Fantasy 16 would be
cool.
Or
a Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 trailer.
I mean, I feel like that'll be released like 2022, 2023. So I don't know. I want them to take their time with it. Yeah. Like, if you did play Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know that who the hell knows where they're going with it.
Well, you also have to recognize Final Fantasy VII, the remake, all the assets are made, technically. Like, they know what Cloud's supposed to look like. They know what Tifa's supposed to look like. Battle system's already there. I don't think they're going to change that up too much. I think they're just building up assets now. So
yeah,
I think
there's a lot of characters that were not in Remake Part 1.
Kate Sith was there. The dog was there. You know,
just the cinematic version.
Yeah, but I believe Part 2 is going to be coming in much faster than you think.
I'd be down for that. Hopefully.
Yeah. One thing that I do hope I get to see, I really want my Bayonetta 3. I don't know where the hell that game is.
Oh, right.
Like, I know that was announced at Game Awards 2 years ago, so I'm like really weirded out that there has been no news about Bayonetta 3, and I'm a huge Platinum fan. I am hoping that there is some new tease from like Xbox. I really need Xbox to do something because I think related to something that we're going to be talking about later on in the show, they're just they're just hemorrhaging fans. Like like Brendan, right? Like hey, like there's just so much more games playing on PlayStation, right?
I could see more info on Fable.
That would be great. They need something because
all we know about Fable is like they just showed like the name basically. Right. So yeah, I could see that. That'd be nice.
Because like Master Chief was not announced, did not come out on Xbox during launch. So that was a big hit to those players. So they need something. On that note of games, there was a massive Capcom leak. Earlier this week, Capcom confirmed that it was victim of a customized ransomware attack that led to unauthorized access to its network. Capcom says corporate employees and customer information may have been compromised by the attack, which super sucks. I really hope none of my information got released because I do play Monster Hunter.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but related to that, they were able to hack the schedule for Capcom for their upcoming games, and I'm going to list them out
Very
to everyone,
exciting.
which sucks and is awesome at the same time.
There's one on here that I'm so hyped for.
All right, well, I'm excited to ask you about it. So, Resident Evil Outbreak, which I think we already knew about, is releasing in Q4 fiscal year 21, which is around your holiday season 2021. Dragon's Dogma 2, Q2, which is late spring 2022. I'm trying to explain what Q2 is. Just most people, I don't think a lot of people know what that is. Street Fighter 6, Q3 2022, so summer. Mega Man Match, Q3 2022, which is also the summer. A game that Resident Evil 4 Remake, Q4 2022. Monster Hunter 6, Q2 2023. Biohazard Apocalypse, which I believe is going to be a Resident Evil game.
That's the Japanese title for those games.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Q3 2023. SSF6, which I'm assuming is Super Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
So stupid. It's Q4 2023. Final Fight remake, which is Q2 2024. A Power Stone remake, which I have no clue what that is.
Let's go.
Really? Okay. Q3 2024, and then another one is Ultra SF6, which is I'm assuming is Ultra Street Fighter 6,
Street Fighter so dumb.
Q4 2024, and Resident Evil Hank. I don't know what that is.
I'm just imagining Hank Hill,
which is Q4 2024. What do you think about these games, Alex?
Dude, Power Stone remake.
So what's Power Stone? I don't know what that is.
Oh, dude, I love Power Stone. Okay, so it was. Did you have a Dreamcast?
No, because that's for weird people.
Stop.
Dreamcast was for the weird people, honestly.
Dude, Dreamcast was a great system, and it just never got the love that it deserved.
You do understand Dreamcast is a system that bankrupts Sega, right?
Yeah, but it was it was cool. It was ahead of its time. And actually, like, if you watch like videos on YouTube, like analyzing like what happened with the system, like what went wrong, like a lot of people are like, it was ahead of its time. I don't know. That's like all I really remember hearing about the Dreamcast, but I loved it. That's like where Sonic Adventure came in.
Terrible game.
Yeah, well, for its time it was good. Anyways, Power Stone. It's a party game fighter. You've played Fusion Frenzy, right?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, you've played like Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
Yes.
Okay, so that top-down view.
Okay,
it's like that, but like there's like items you can pick up, and like you're fighting each other. There's like health bars, and then you can pick up these power stones, and then like your character can like transform, and like it's hype.
Out of this entire list, I did not expect you to be excited about this.
Okay, well, out of this entire list, I didn't even expect to see Power Stone, so I was super excited on that. Yeah, it's so fun. It's not like competitive really, like it's very casual.
It's a party game.
It's a party game.
Yeah.
So I would pre-order that.
Oh, that's so funny.
100%
That's awesome.
Pre-order that. There's 3 Street Fighter 6s on here, which is just
that's
exactly
so disappointing.
It's in Capcom fashion, and that's just it's.
Well,
dumb.
didn't they promise? So when Street Fighter 5 is it 5? Yeah. When Street Fighter 5 released, they promised that there wouldn't be any like supers or ultras or whatever.
I'm pretty sure
there's like 4.
Yeah, they just released one, I think, this year.
Yeah.
Like Ultimate Tournament Edition or something.
Crazy. But people buy them, so what are you going to do?
I have zero intentions of playing the next Street Fighter.
Yeah, I'm more excited for that Monster Hunter 6 game. I don't know what that's going to look like.
A lot of people are probably very excited for that.
On a separate note, did you see that trailer for the Monster Hunter movie? It looks so good. And I know video game... I didn't
see those announced. That's cool.
It was announced like a couple of months back. But it's from the maker of like Resident Evil movies, so it's one of those. But it looks so good. I want you to check it out. It looks so good, dude. I'm kind of excited to watch that movie. So But yeah, the only thing I'm really excited about here is Monster Hunter 6. I really wanted a Beautiful Joe game. Like I really loved that game, and it's such a bummer that it just kind of like disappeared after GameCube. That was a really good game. So hoping
those
for
are
the
fun
future.
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if a Dreamcast series is getting revived and remade, there's hope for Beautiful Joe.
Oh, Beautiful Joe. I don't know if it ages well though. It's one of those weird things. We'll see how that goes.
I think it would do okay.
Yeah. On that note, I did want to touch base before we kind of finish up here, is that I wanted to add a topic of the show this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alex, who is winning next gen so far?
PS5.
Why is that?
I think, well, one, launch games. Everyone kind of knew that. But also on maybe, I don't know if you want to call this like a superficial level, there's just so much more hype behind getting a PS5 over a Series X or S.
Right.
There's so much more demand. There's so much more mayhem, craziness.
Is that just biased because you love the PS5, or is that like actual...
like the internet?
Yeah.
Are you seeing that too, or is it just my skewed view?
I think there is a truth to that. Like I think, PS5, there's just more stuff to be excited about the console. Everyone's really positive about the controllers, everything. Like these are really good launch games. Demon Souls and Miles Morales for launch games. Yeah. Not to mention there's Astros, which is like bundled in. Like it's really good. So I do agree. Like, do you think it's like one of those weird things? The reason I wanted to add to this topic of the show this month is that, or this week on this week's episode, is Xbox kind of screwed? Like, what's going on there? Like, what do you think?
Well, and I think we like briefly talked about this in this past week. The people who play Xbox and are excited for it, they're fine with it, right? Like they have their Call of Duty, they have these multiplayer games, and they have the games that their friends play. Right. Like they're in the ecosystem. Their friend group is in that ecosystem as well. So like they're happy with that. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to like seem like a jerk for kind of belittling Microsoft and Xbox as I do, because I mean, most of it's just like a joke. I do respect Microsoft. But yeah, like if they're happy gaming with their friends on this console in that way, they're fine with it. Microsoft's fine with it. I don't know. Yeah, I think the people who are fine with it are just fine with it. Yeah. And that's okay.
One thing that I have noticed over the internet a lot more at this launch, because I was there for the PS4 launch, it feels like there's more Xbox detractors than usual, though. So that's the reason.
You mean people like leaving?
Yeah. So like
jumping ship,
there's a lot of people that I keep on seeing on like on Facebook or like on Reddit, where they would have, these are all my consoles, and then the next one is a PS5, and then it's like hashtag no regrets. You know what I mean?
And then, on the flip side of what I just said, there are plenty of people who are not okay with what the Xbox One, with how it performed. They know that there's a lot more exclusives on the other side of the bridge. So I think just the PS5 is a better system. I think the software is certainly better. I'm excited. I'm excited for this generation.
Yeah, see what it has to offer. It's going to be really interesting. Like you said in like our previous conversations, Xbox only really has Game Pass to hang its hat on. So hopefully they have something. Like I said, Game Awards, they need something. They really do, because the launch games that people were really banking on, which was, I don't even know if you knew about it, but like The Medium, that was supposed to be a launch game, and people were hoping that was to be a launch game. And then Halo, none of the launch games panned out. So, so it's like such a bummer.
And it can't even make a ping pong ball float.
Oh my god! And then the other thing too, it's just like one of those weird things where like even like the Xbox One, was it the Xbox One? I forgot the names. Whatever, last gen's Xbox.
Yeah, Xbox One.
Right. Even the Xbox One had like launch games. It is so weird to me that Xbox doesn't have any launch games.
Yeah, I mean, I think they wanted to, just
didn't but like pan out. Like what was that, like a stupid like like Spartan game called like Rise that was like super
Yeah, I
pretty.
remember that, which
Yeah.
wasn't very good.
It wasn't
but yeah,
good,
they had
but
it.
like they had a launch game. There was something
Yeah.
someone to be excited about to like show off their next gen console.
Mhm.
And so, granted, people are playing your Assassin's Creed, and like people are playing Ori and the what do you call, not Will of the Wisp, but the new one. But like
I
it's
think
one
that
of
is
those
the new one.
No. Is it the new one? I
Or
don't
in the
know.
Blind Forest
Or
is
is
the
it-
first one.
Oh, was it? Okay, so
Yeah.
Ori and the Will of the Wisp. It's one of those things where like it's hard to be excited for a next gen console for one, consoles that are cross plat, and two, games that are cross plat, but also games that are kind of old, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a bummer, but I hope they figure something out.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, the excitement behind getting a PS5 is like, okay, yes, I can play Demon Souls because, like, I can only play Demon Souls on the PS5. I can only play Astro's Playroom on this. If you get, like, a Series X and then you boot up, like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it's like, well, this is cool, but, like, also, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Also, one thing that I know, and we're not really talking about the games we're playing, just related to this, I don't know if I can go back to PS4 games. Just on the basis.
Okay.
So I played Miles Morales, and I thought about the other day, I never fast travel in a game. Like, I typically don't fast travel in the game because it takes too long. So in my head, I'm like, I'd rather swing, or like I'd rather drive there myself because it takes too long to fast travel.
Sure.
But because the fast travel was so fast in Miles Morales, it's literally less than a second to fast travel in that game.
I cannot wait for that. Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I thought about it. And I don't know, I haven't really fast traveled in Assassin's Creed Valhalla yet, but if that was the same for like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I think that it would make it a better game because the loading for the fast travel wouldn't be too fast or too slow. But yeah, there's only time will tell. I'm really excited for what do you call it? The Game of the Year awards, and so I think we're going to hear a lot of new plans for what these new consoles will bring.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a fun time for sure.
On that note, budget gaming, Xbox Black Friday deals. Everyone has Black Friday deals. It's crazy. Go spend all of your money. But Xbox Black Friday deals, just wanted to list off a couple of things, and a lot of these are kind of similar across the board. So I would assume that Steam and Epic Game Stores will have the same pricing for these games. I don't think they have their Black Friday deals up yet, but I would be very surprised if they're not the same kind of deal. So for Xbox, Marvel's Avengers is $30. Watch Dogs Legion is $40. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time is $39. Forza Horizon 4 is $30. And Control Ultimate Edition is $19. Also, a lot of these games are also on Xbox Game Pass. So like check that out too. So it's one of those weird things where like we keep on we're telling you about these deals on Xbox, and obviously some of you may want to own your games, but Game Pass, man, so good.
It is. It really is.
For PlayStation Black Friday deals, one thing that I do want to note before I go on here, I hate the new storefront for PS5.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like, it looks nice, but I can't find the deals. You can't filter deals on PS5. So there's no banner that lets you, hey, like, this is the Black Friday deal. These are all of the games for Black Friday deal.
I always just use Reddit, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's like annoying. And it bums me out. Because it was like a fun thing for me on Tuesdays where I'm like, oh, what deals are on here? Well, maybe we'll buy something.
Totally.
But on that note, again, Watch Dogs Legion is also on sale. It is for $40. That's for PS4 and PS5. Last of Us 2, Alex, is $30.
Oh, Cone let me borrow it.
Okay. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Marvel's Avengers is $30 as well. Ghost of Tsushima is $40. Final Fantasy Remake is $40 as well. Persona 5 Royal is $30. And there's so many more deals. I couldn't list them all. I just couldn't do it. Steam, like I said, they don't have their Black Friday deals up, so I'm assuming those are going to be coming up in the next couple of days. But one thing notable there is Avengers is already $30 on there. And then Epic Game Store, Elite Dangerous is free, and The World Next Door is free as well. So those online platforms don't have their Black Friday deals, but I would not be surprised if those are coming out soon.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you for sticking around for our 12th episode of Professionally Casual Gamers. We had a lot of fun talking and hanging out with each other Alex, I'm sure, is super trying to rush me and say, hey, can we finish this up? Because I'm about to go off on this PS5.
I need to play, Ralph.
But if you have any discussion topics and questions, actually, if you have questions about the PS5 or any of the any things that you want us to talk about for these new consoles, because both Alex and I have it already, please send them please send those questions our way. That would be fantastic. And send us any of your questions on Instagram and Twitter as well at Professionally Casual Gamers, or on Gmail at professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com. So see you next week, and keep it casual.
Yes, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.
Make sure to eat that pecan pie. It's the best pie. Yes. Oh, we agree on that. Okay.
Dude, pecan pie is the best. Sam hates pecan pie, but gobble, gobble, everyone.
Sam,
keep it casual.